Baruch Hashem, I think through all we've discovered and learned about the great Rav Meir Shapiro over these last weeks, we can understand a little bit now. We have perspective on his greatest enduring accomplishment was, of course, and obviously, the Daf Yomi. What do I mean? We've seen the attitude, we've seen the pioneering spirit, we've seen the tremendous activism, we've seen the passion for Jewish education, we've seen the person who's ready to make changes, as we gave her perspective over the last 2 weeks. And therefore we see that the Daf Yomi wasn't just a great idea that fell out of nowhere, but with humongous siyata d'shmaya, it was a life effort of a person who was thinking a certain way. And that's something that always really think about, just when you try to understand different figures historically. What's going on? Was that just a one-off, a great year, a specific unusual moment, or was this something which epitomized the person? And I think with Daf Yomi, through all our sessions, we appreciate that this was very much something that epitomized him, and therefore we can really understand it. So now it's a perfect time to get into a few 2 or 3 sessions just to know more about the Daf Yomi. What was it about? What was Rav Meir looking for? What he accomplished through it, etc. We have to know something, that when it comes to Daf Yomi, it wasn't just the idea itself, it was the promulgation of the idea, the publication of the idea, the pushing the idea, the pursuit of the idea, the advertising the idea, the constant efforts in that. Again, which also shows something about, I would call like hard work. It wasn't just genius is 1%, inspiration 99% perspiration. So Rav Meir had the tremendous inspiration. We also had the tremendous perspiration. And he worked and thought of ways to explain the Daf Yomi, and he pushed it, and he spoke to people about it, etc. And that's how what came out. Let's see. He said that, think about it, when we have Tefillah B'tzibur, many Jews davening together, that has a whole different value, apart from the mitzvah of davening. Everybody knows, we go to a minyan, it puts the davening in a whole different level, Tefillah B'tzibur. In a group, the prayer attains a sonority and power that an individual can never match. How great and then holy will a daf of Talmud be when it ascends to Shamayim from the study of hundreds of thousands with heaven's help? How immensely important will such a widespread learning program be? This is very interesting. Once a little bit of a Hasidic pshat, but listen to the idea he mentioned. He says the Talmud in Bechoros talks about that everything that's in the animal world has parallels in the vegetable world, in the tzemach world, not vegetable, in the botany world, etc. So there are creatures, not really everything, that was not exact. There are creatures which have a gestation period, that means the amount of time to have a child, and that is equal to something in the plant world. So small livestock have a gestation period of 5 months. Correspondingly, it takes a grapevine 5 months to produce its fruit. But there's one exception to the rule. What's the exception to the rule? Something that has a gestation period in the animal world which has no parallel in the plant world. That's the snake. For the wicked creature, for the nachash, we have found nothing that corresponds. Nothing in the plant world that takes 7 years till it yields its product. The time a snake needs for its prenatal development. There's a certain type of snake, I assume. This is the Gemara Bechoros Daf Ches Amud Aleph. So, how did he explain that? Because the nachash isn't just the physical nachash. It reminds us of the nachash hakadmoni, the earlier nachash, the primordial snake, the snake which wreaked havoc in the whole world, which brought down Chava, caused all the problems that happened in the world. And there was no tikkun for the 7 years that it took for a nachash to develop in the plant world. Says Rav Meir, guess what? Now we have it. The Daf Yomi. The Daf Yomi, which is going to take that 7-year cycle, the nachash who brought the eitz Hadas Tov Ra and was Mabalbo the Bria and put the Zuma into us, etc. There's an eitz Hadas Keneged, that's the 7 years of the Daf Yomi. Those are the types of ideas he was teaching. Listen to this one. The program will create a new special common language among our people. And how true this is. On airplanes, you know about airplanes. Two Jews from different towns or even from different countries will meet. The knowledge they share in the Daf Yomi, the page of Talmud currently being studied, will give them a common interest, a common ground. This is his words, on which to become acquainted and form a bond of friendship directly. The days of a person's life, and even more certain hours every day, will take on a new importance that will be felt. One that he knows if he lets a day go by heedlessly, he loses 2 pages, or 2 almudim. He will know that he has fallen by the wayside, and he's not part of the great brotherhood. Through Daf Yomi, a person will learn to value a day of life, knowing what it can bring him. Oh, I can accomplish something in this day. The sense of obligation, the stable, ordered regularity of the program will arouse a person and stimulate him to go further in learning. And I know that for hundreds and thousands of people, that's so true. How splendid this could be. Again, this is all his own words. You see how he saw it. He understood what he was building. A man goes sailing across it. By the way, how old was he? We'll see next time. This is happening in 1923. He's all 36 years old. How splendid this could be. A man goes sailing across the sea and he carries a volume of brachos. He's traveling from Eretz Yisrael to America. And every day with sunset, he opens up his daf and studies a daf. He gets to America and he enters a base medrash in America. And to his amazement, he finds a group of work on the very same page of Talmud that he reached in his own private learning. And he sits down and joins into them. And they start talking and they have a debate. And he's answered back. And the kavod shemayim becomes greater, mightier, more holy. And then he goes from North America to Brazil or to Japan. Having arrived, he will head for the base medrash. And what will he find? Also there, in Japan, they're learning. Nor is that until now. And furthermore, he said, that now there's certain mesechtas which are studied, certain mesechtas which are not studied, which go by the wayside. And now all the mesechtas will be studied. So they're just some of the arguments. But this is what I'm bringing out. These were the types of arguments he was writing about. These are the types of things he was saying. And when we see at Daf Yomi, which such had miraculous effect on the Jewish people, it's because there was a certain person who was coming up with these ideas, who was pushing these ideas, who was sweating over the ideas, who was thinking about how to develop them. And we'll hear more about that next time.